Woo! The Battlin Bucs just never say die, folks. What a start to this season, especially against, in my opinion, one of the best teams in baseball in the Baltimore Orioles. Once again, it may not be Steelers Ravens, but anytime Pittsburgh goes up against Baltimore in any sport, you know there's going to be drama. It's going to be hard fought. It's going to be gritty. And that's exactly what this series was. What is going on, everybody? Good Sunday, everyone. I am Mac. Back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link down in the box below. Pirates 3, Orioles 2. Pirates take 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore Orioles in their first home series of the season this weekend. And your Pirates, through 10 games, are sitting at 8-2. The best 10-game start that we've had since 2018, when we had that same record through 10 games of 8-2, which, may I remind you, also happens to be the last time the Pirates had a winning record, as we won 83 games that season. So again, knock on wood, hopefully the parallel can continue, but I'm taking it day by day. I'm taking it game by game, and I just love this team so far, man. How can you not? How can you not love this start, and how can you not love the will and the determination, the fight, and the battle that this Pirate team has? Because let me tell you, the teams from 2019 to 2022, they would easily lose these games. I'm not kidding. They would easily drop, especially these last two games, which I'll get into. And I know it's only 10 games in the season. You still got 152 to go. I'm well aware of that. But this team just continues to find ways to win. They're never truly out of it. They're never completely out of a game. And I think this series against the Orioles is the perfect example of that. Friday, we dropped the home opener Friday, unfortunately, by a final of 5-2. But I got to tell you, Jared Jones, I'm starting to get sold on this guy. He had a strong game. And Friday is a perfect example of why I always sit down here and say that pitcher win-losses is easily the most overrated stat in baseball. Because you look at Jared Jones, he was lights out on Friday night. He just had the two mistake pitches that were solo homers for the Orioles. But how can you not love the outing that he had? High 90s in the fastball. Incredible stuff. His location, almost completely on par. Striking out Rushman and Gunnar, two of Baltimore's best players. The top two in their order, I believe, to start the game off. And here's a stat for you about Jared Jones. Since 1988, he is tied with some guy in Los Angeles. You may have heard of him. It's no big deal, but his name is Shohei Ohtani. He's tied with him for the most swings and misses in his first two starts at 43. Yeah, when you're in that conversation of that high profile of a pitcher, you know that you're doing something right. Jared Jones, I'm sold on him so far. He had great stuff Friday night. Unfortunately, the offense was just dead. He went 6 strong innings, struck out 7, and again, just the two mistake pitches where he allowed 2 solo homers. But other than that, Jared Jones was great. But the offense, like I said, was as cold as it was in the city of Pittsburgh on Friday, except for O'Neal Cruz and Ke'Bryan Hayes. They swung the bat well. They contributed. And overall, it was just a sloppy offensive game. O'Neal Cruz pounded a home run to cut the deficit to 2-1, and then Jared Triolo added a solo homer. But the middle of the lineup, that was when things went real bad for the Buccos. They went 0 for 16 combined with 9 strikeouts. And the bullpen had their first really bad game of the season, in my opinion, Friday in a 5-2 Baltimore win. But here comes the fun stuff. Saturday and today. First of all, Bailey Falter. Incredible game. Just incredible start for him yesterday. 6 innings, 1 base hit, 1 strikeout, and he had a no-hitter through 5 innings, which really he should have had 6 no-hit innings because of a ball that was dropped, that dropped down for a base hit, and the infielders got to call off your guy right there. That's all there is to it. Someone just waves him off or just calls him off. You're looking at Bailey Falter potentially pitching a no-hitter. It's amazing how one little mistake, one error can change the complexity of a whole game. But Bailey Falter did amazing nonetheless. And 3 runs was really all he needed. He got a sac fly, and then Joey Bart, who is coming back as a Pirate, we got him the other day, crushes a 2-run homer, his first at bat as a Pirate to make it 3-0. But again, the bullpen really off again yesterday. Stuff like allowing runners on and allowing game-tying runs, it doesn't happen often with David Bednar, but when it does, it's incredibly rare for him. And the Orioles tied the game in the 9th inning, and the Pirates were once again squandering opportunities. Baltimore actually had a 4-3 lead in the 10th inning, and then in came that 11th inning where the Pirates just really got things going. Ke'Bryan Hayes ripped one into center field, and that would have been the game winner. I mean, if you saw that contact by Ke'Bryan Hayes, which is why I love him being in the 3rd spot in the lineup. He is really comfortable being in that 3rd spot, continues to swing the bat well. But if you see that contact that Ke'Bryan Hayes had in the 11th inning yesterday, it was perfect. Perfect swing, great contact, dropped it right in the gap, would have been the game winner. But hey, sometimes you got to credit the defense. That was an amazing catch by Cedric Mullins. Saved the game right there. You got to tip your hat to the other team sometimes. That was an amazing play by Cedric Mullins. But then the man of the hour, O'Neal Cruz, who I have a good feeling is going to get an extension sometime soon with the Buccos, rips a single to right field that scored Henry Davis. Walk-off winner, 5-4, Buccos win it. But still, that doesn't take away the fact that the Pirates left so many men on yesterday. They had the chance to really win it in the 10th inning, but, a strikeout with the bases loaded and thrown out at home plate. They got the sac fly in at least to tie the game up. But other than Aroldis Chapman, I mean, Aroldis Chapman's just been sensational for us. He got out of a sticky situation late in the game yesterday. And the bullpen, again, looked off yesterday. So is it time to be a little concerned about the bullpen? I don't know. I mean, maybe the bullpen is just due to have a bad game here and there. But overall, I mean, just an incredible comeback yesterday by the Buccos to take it 5-4, set up an incredible rubber match for today, and it did not disappoint. Baltimore got on the board early with a 2-0 lead. And once again, the Pirates, they were not fundamentally sound once again today. It was not a perfect win today. It was a thrilling win nonetheless, but once again, you look at it, the Bucs were not fundamentally sound. They had several chances to get on the board, mainly in the 3rd inning where I believe it was O'Neal Cruz, may have been Brian Reynolds if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those two. I think it was Brian Reynolds now that I think about it, was so close to hitting a 2-run homer to make it 2-0 Bucks, settles for the double. But in that instance, you can't send Triolo home right there. You got to be able to score on an out, and you got to be able to play small ball against a team like the Orioles. I get being aggressive. I don't hate that send right there at third, but I would have just kept him at third right there. You got to know how strong that the fielder's arm is. You got to know where the ball was hit, and you just got to know basic stuff like that. I would have sent Triolo at third, but I get the aggression sending him to home because he hit it in the deepest part of the ballpark. But just think about it. If he kept him at third, the next ball was hit deep enough to score him from third, and the Pirates would have had a 1-0 lead. Granted, Baltimore did score 2 runs to make it 2-0, so I guess it really wouldn't have mattered in the grand scheme of things, but maybe it would have, because you fast forward to the end of today's game where it probably would have been tied at 2, but instead it was 2-1. Bullpen had a much better game today. Much better. Limited the damage. Marco Gonzalez, I thought, pitched well enough to win. Again, he gets taxed with a no decision because the offense was quiet today. They blew chances to get on the board again. But Marco Gonzalez, I think he pitched really well. He went 6 innings, only gave up 2 runs, ran into a little bit of trouble later on, but he was able to limit the damage. But you go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 2-1. And Edward Olivares, with 2 men on. No, with the bases loaded, I believe. And 1 out. Ground ball to second base. Amazing play by the shortstop. Got the runner at second. And then throws the game away at first base. And that is how your game ends right there. What an ending to today's game to seal the series win for the Pirates. This series right here was a big, big test for the Pirates. And they took 2 out of 3. They took 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles. A huge test for the Pirates today. And I have to say, even if the Pirates didn't win today, even if they dropped today's series, it just shows you that this team is improving. This team has confidence in themselves. This team believes in themselves. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you never feel like that they're completely out of a game. They are indeed the Battlin Bucs. You get back-to-back walk-off wins. You're setting up rallies. You're not trying to do too much. You're putting the ball in play. Sure, the Pirates need to polish up on things like wasting opportunities, and they need to polish up the fundamentals still, because they have played a little bit sloppy in this series as well. But overall, you can definitely tell this team is improving. They're trending upwards, and it doesn't matter what the deficit is. This team is going to give you 9 innings of quality baseball, and they're going to fight until the last out. Even if they lose, at least they tried. At least they care. Because let me tell you, 2019 to 2022, this team gets down 2-0, it's game over. It would be 9-0 or 10-0 in a heartbeat. But not this team. Not this team. They get down 2-0. It's like, okay, well, that happened, but now we're going to do this. We're going to get runners on. 2-0 is nothing, literally. It's not an insurmountable deficit. We're not going to get scared by it. We're not going to let that intimidate us. We're going to go out there and we're going to make this a game still. And that's the sense that you get with this team. And you see it with sac flies. You see it with, hitting the ball in the outfield where the other people aren't. And you see it where guys are just not trying to hit home runs every single time they're at the plate. They're manufacturing runs. They're hitting with guys on, especially with 2 outs. that hit by Edward Olivares, it should have been a game-ending double play. So maybe it was a little bit of luck on the Pirates' part right there. But sometimes, hey, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than be good. And the Pirates today and in this series were both lucky and good. And that's what you love to see going forward. Like I said, this team hasn't been perfect, but they don't need to be perfect. Sure, I want to see Mitch Keller pitch better. Sure, I want to see them, do fundamentals like call off your guy on a routine fly ball. Sure, I want to see them field the ball better. Sure, I want to see them, not, stop watching these pitches whiz by him. Sure, I want to see stuff like that. But when it matters most, this team is right in the thick of things. And this was a huge test for them. I cannot stress this enough. This was a huge test for them. Okay, the Miami Marlins finally got their first win against the Cardinals, which I love to see as a Pirate fan. So Miami is 1-9 on the season. So, yeah, I know that 4-game sweep doesn't look so impressive right now, but starting the season off with a 4-game sweep is never easy in any juncture. And then, yeah, the Nationals, they're not very good either. They're going through a rebuild phase. But this Orioles team, a team that won 101 games last season, and everyone is expecting, myself included, everyone is expecting more big things out of them this year, especially with them getting Corbin Burnes in the offseason, and you take 2 out of 3 against them. That needs to be a big confidence booster with this team going forward. And now you stay at home. You're facing another young, feisty team in the Detroit Tigers, who up until Thursday were undefeated. The Tigers may not be the best team in baseball, but they sure are a scrappy young bunch, and they're going to give them a game too. That's going to be a good test right there. I said in my Nationals recap, my ideal of a successful homestand for this team is going 3-2, and we're 2-1 so far. If we can just split this series against Detroit, I'll be fine. You're 9-3 through 12 games. You got another road trip coming up. You head to the wrong side of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia to play the Phillies next. And then I believe we're in Queens to play the Mets. So you got Detroit coming up, and then you got Philly coming up. Those are 2 hard series right there. The Phillies is a 4-game series, by the way. So my ideal, you split with Detroit, you're 1-1. You split with Philly. I'll take 3-3. I will take 3-3. 11-5 through 16 games would be amazing for this team. And then the Mets, I think that they're a team that we should be able to beat right now. So, overall, great series by the Pirates. Very hard-fought series by both teams. Gritty, tough. The Pirates were in there the entire series. Even on Friday when they lost 5-2, the Pirates battled hard. It's just that they couldn't get anything going. This team played a really good team with everything they had. And that's just something that I think they need to keep going forward with. So let's bring on the Tigers, man. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. The Buccos are 8-2, man. And this is Mac checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.